She's an author, she's a columnist, she's a television political commentator, she's the vice chair of the DNC. She's worked on every presidential campaign from '76 to 2000. She's an amazing cook, and she is our friend and our ally and the co-chair of Democrats for Public Education, Donna Brazile.
Wow, you've been fired up all day, girl. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. To our illustrious Secretary-Treasurer and our Executive Vice President, to all of you who are here today in this beautiful, sunny Los Angeles. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I want to say that I am so humble and proud to be here. You see, I am a proud graduate of Louisiana Public Schools. Who that? Who that? My cousin, a man who not only helped to shape my life, but the lives of so many others. In fact, he's had such a large imprint in our family that we now have more teachers in my family, I think, than any other profession. I am proud also to be here with Nat LaCour. Where's Nat? Who that, Nat? There's my brother, there's my cousin. Thank you, Nat. I'm proud to be a daughter of a laborer, a cousin of a teacher, a niece of a longshoreman. I'm a proud owner of a public school teacher right now in New Orleans, Louisiana. I am proud to be a Labor Democrat. I am a card-carrying union member. And I'm not tired. I'm still organizing. I am now organizing fellow adjunct professors at Georgetown University, where I teach. So thank you, my good friend Randy Weingarten, for your tremendous leadership, your determination to promote public schools across America, for reminding us that we have to reclaim the promise of public education. In 1965, I know I don't look a day past 21. Hell, if you ask me to dance, I'll show you some new moves. Miley Cyrus don't have nothing on me, and besides, my mama told me never to put my back down and bend over. But it was in 1965 when they were experimenting with this new program after Lyndon Johnson declared a war on poverty that it came down to Louisiana, and I was in that first class of young people who had a head start in life, and I'm proud of it. But I'm here today to announce the formation of Democrats for Public Education. And ladies and gentlemen, if the Republicans ever could figure out the way to tell the truth, we would announce Americans for Public Education, because education is not a partisan issue. It's an American value, and we should stand up for our public schools all across America. I say that because often when these people get elected, they forget where they came from. They forget that they sat in the classroom just like me and you. When it comes down to opening up the wallets, they say, no, you can do less. You cannot do more with less money. I know that for a fact. I know what it's like because I hear from my cousins, I hear from my niece what they have to do each and every year. And to criticize you for some of the things that they should be doing, it's a shame before God, and I'm here to tell them. But I'm going to be a nice girl today, Randy. Still early where I'm from. But don't let this tiger loose, because, baby, let me just tell you this. There's a reason why I'm not on Fox TV, because I'm a cougar woman. I will tame the shrew. But ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, public education is the only way we can strengthen and revitalize and grow the middle class and provide opportunities and elevators and a springboard for the working poor. Public education helps to preserve our American values, and that's what we're going to champion as Democrats and Americans for public education across this country. We're going to reclaim this promise. Along with Governor Strickland and Governor Granholm, we're not going to be silent while you are being attacked. You might think that after Brown versus the Board of Education, after Head Start, after Title I and Title IX and the Little Rock Nine and busing, after the creation of the Department of Education in 1980, after the 1983 Nation at Risk Report, and after all the acronyms and clever talk, though often misleading phrases like leave no child behind, after all of that, you might think that our debate has finally reached a stage where the question is not if public education, but how public education. We might be forgiven that thought in another decade and early in era, but not today, and not in our lifetime. In our time, the very concept of public education is under attack. The recent decision here in California, in Los Angeles, to declare teacher tenure illegal because it violates students, and I quote, civil rights, is perverse. It's as perverse as rulings from the Supreme Court about voting rights, and as perverse as the Supreme Court recent decision in Hobby Lobby employees' right and women's right to health care is perverse. I might also say that as perverse as Bush v. Gore, but we're not going to go back that far. But education is not a business, and students are not factory workers or robots on an assembly line. The attempt to make the classroom an unregulated survival of the fittest, business-first market ignores the purpose of education. Not only that, but the very promise of public education being for everyone, for every child, no matter your zip code. Ladies and gentlemen, this has no place in this market-driven education reform that rests on the fallacy that the public school system is in some crisis and that the only solution is to let the market pick winners and losers. Our children are not losers. We must measure the success of education not by how they score on a standardized test, but how they deal with the very test of life. You all know that. And let me just say this. We all know that the root cause of some of the problems that we have in school today is inequality. Not bad teachers, or bad students, or bad parents, or even bad principals, but bad, truly bad economic and social policies, the kind that creates and promotes and expands inequality in our society. Consider this, 22% of children in America, the richest country in history, live below the federal poverty line. That's a shame. Nearly half live in low-income families that struggle to meet basic needs. Education is supposed to be the great equalizer, but the market-driven reform promote and celebrate inequality. And we have to change that, and we have to restart this debate. Racial segregation is real now in our public schools. Economic segregation, cultural and class segregation, the I, me, mine philosophy that drive Wall Street, the corporatists, and the would-be oligarchs, the Koch brothers and their political minions does not belong in the classroom. And as a lifelong Democrat, I'm ashamed of attempts by some within my own party. Oh yeah, I'll call them out. I am ashamed of those who are trying to undermine public schools under the guise of reform. Let me state this bluntly. The assault on public education is an assault on the principles of democracy and the foundation of our country. You know, Thomas Jefferson, those of us from Louisiana, we studied him. You know, the Louisiana Purchase. That's when Louisiana became a state that had 4 seasons: shrimp, crab, crawfish, and oysters. But we studied him in class, thanks to my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Marchand. That's when they taught civics. Miss Eugene wasn't bad in 4th. Miss LeBlanc wasn't bad in 3rd grade. Miss Pierce, on my head, start teaching, my first grade teacher, Miss Collins, I remember all of them. I can go all the way to Mr. Lockwood in 8th grade. By the time I got to 9th grade, I wanted to be a teacher, so I forgot their names because I just kept saying, Donna wants to be a teacher. But ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Jefferson, a strong proponent of public education, once proposed a 2-track middle grade system, one for the laboring, the other for the learned, arguing that the scholarship would allow a very few of the laboring class to advance by raking a few geniuses from the rubbish. The poor, the working class, the laborers are not rubbish. So why is public education so contentious? Why is there so much misinformation, misleading, daily attacks? I don't know if it's being spread, is it deliberate or not, about teachers, about students, about what schools do and about what they cannot do. The reason I think is that we have done a poor job. Yes, we've done a poor job of educating people about education, about its goals and its promise. And that is why reclaiming the promise. I don't know if you tweet, but I'm a Twitteraholic, so you can follow me, but guess what? If you reclaim it today, I'll follow you. I'll retweet you. Because that's the way we educate not just our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues. That's how we educate the American people. And yes, we educate the media as well. We have to do a better job. And only after we have clarified that can we talk about how best we can achieve this promise once again for everybody. So let me close. Governor Strickland, Governor Granholm, and I will work together. We are going to open up our big mouths. We're going to talk the talk because we have walked the walk and we're going to continue to walk the walk. But let me say in closing, one of the best definitions for me, the real test of policy and progress is that of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who inspired my generation and many more to act, to believe in the goodness and kindness of others. Dr. King wrote that, and I quote, "Education has a twofold function to perform in the life of man, and I will add, and woman in society. The one is utility and the other is culture. Education must enable a person to become more efficient," Dr. King said, "to achieve with increasing facility the legitimate goals of one's life." Dr. King went on to say that education must also train one for quick, resolute, and effective thinking. To think incisively and to think for oneself is very difficult. So he said that we are prone to let our mental life become invaded by legions of half-truths, prejudices, and propaganda. Education, Dr. King believed, can enable one to sift and weigh evidence to discern the true from the false, the real from the unreal, and the facts from the fiction. The function of education, therefore, is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence, Dr. King said, plus character, that is the goal of true education. Critical thinking is not a multiple choice question. Educating character, teaching skills, creating an environment of dialogue and inquiry, establishing a community from a diverse of cultures, nurturing potential and empowering people in the pursuit of happiness. These must start at an early age. These must be available to all. These must, and this must be our call for good public schools and education across this country. Social ills affects us all. A small wound or infection, if untreated, can endanger the whole body politics. For the political and economic health of our country, and for every individual within, we need to strengthen, improve, commit ourselves to achieving the promise of public education once more. We must continue to fight for Head Start programs and to ensure that all of our teachers, all of our schools have the resources they need. We must continue to preserve public education across this country and to make sure that public education is available for everyone from preschool through college. Thank you so much for standing up, for standing by, for holding up so many like this girl grew up poor in Louisiana. You believed in me. You showed me the way. You gave me a seat, and then you taught me how to stand. God bless you. Democrats for Public Education, we're with you, we're standing with you, and we will stand by you. God bless you all. Thank you so much.